Hey, this is Buzz with episode 51 of AirWaves. In this episode, if you've got a Xiegu G90 transceiver, you likely have one of these as well. It's the H1 holder slash fan, cooling fan for the G90. And if you have one of these and you're like me, more than once you've got your finger stuck in this fan. I've got an easy, cheap fix for this. That's next on AirWaves.
Buzz Stone's Airwaves.
Buzz back with episode 51 of Airwaves, and as promised, I've got an easy fan fix for the Xiegu G90 H1 holder and cooling fan assembly. And I'll turn on the power supply over here. I've got this connected to. As you see, that fan is spinning, and that thing spins really fast. And if you're like me, more than once you've probably got your finger stuck into that, or I've even had it like sitting on the desktop and maybe there was a piece of paper and it would get sucked up into the fan, that kind of thing. Well, of course, I mean, you could actually cut your fingers on that, or you could damage the fan, neither of which you'd want to do. So let's go ahead and turn off the power supply here. And I said I've got an easy fix. I actually discovered this kind of by accident, and it was really a no-brainer when you think about it. One of my viewers had sent me or commented on the video about this cooling fan that a friend of his had a 3D printer, and he found this pattern for the 3D printer. And I'll tell you more about that in the second half of this video, because it's really cool. But it's a little bit more involved than the fix I've got. In mine, it's simple. You've seen these, I'm sure. This is a fan grill cover that's typically made for the cooling fan on a computer. You can buy these really cheap. I got two of them. Purchased online. I think for both of them with shipping it was like $5.87. And this is just really simple. You just screw that down on there. Now this is a this is a 90 millimeter fan grill. Okay, so that's what you need to look for. They come in different sizes. I've seen 120 and 90, and those seem to be the two most common. But you need the 90 millimeter grill cover. And your corners here of your cooling fan already have holes in there for mounting. So all you need to do is get the right size screws and screw that in. Now I'm not going to bore you with putting in all the screws, but what I will tell you, I'll show you the finished product here in a little bit. What I will tell you though, it's probably a good idea to put a washer in here to add a little bit more spacing. And if you look at the side of this grill, there's a definite way you want to do it. The little legs here, the mounting legs, they bend down, which sets it up higher. You definitely want it that way. You don't want to turn around the other way, or you'd have it dragging against the fan. But it is a little bit complicated in that you don't have a whole lot of space here to work with when you're putting your nut and your screw through there. And so I would suggest that you use a pair of needle nose pliers to hold the nut in place as you screw the screw in with your washer there for spacing. So I'll go ahead and put those screws in and come right back and show you what it looks like. Okay, we're back, and as you see, I have the fan grill mounted on there. Perfect fit. Just the right size. Again, that's 90 millimeter. And by the way, I used these screws here. I got these at my local Ace Hardware. They're machine screws. They come with the nuts, and the size is well, I tore the label there. Let's see. They're 32 by ½ inch. There's another number in front of there. And there's also a product code. The last three numbers are 650. So if you want to go to your local Ace Hardware, look for those. The last three numbers will be 650. And again, these are machine screws and nuts. You want to make sure you don't get the wood screws, of course. But anyway, might save you a little bit of time. So let's turn on the power supply. And as you can see, fan is spinning. No more fingers in the fan. That's a good thing, right? So there it is, a simple, easy fix for your Xiegu H1 holder. And the second part of the video here, I'm going to show you another alternative, a little bit more involved, but if you've got a 3D printer or you have a friend who has one, there's a really neat fix. You can make a plastic case that not only covers the fan but also covers the circuit board, which makes it a really nice thing to have. I've even considered buying a 3D printer myself, just to make this. I think if somebody were to make these things and sell them, they could probably have a pretty good business. But part 2 of the video, I'll tell you all about that next. Okay, back on episode 25 of AirWaves, I did a review of the Xiegu G90 H1 fan and holder. And I want to give a shout out here to this guy, Truck57US. He posted this back 2 months ago, that the holder and cooling fan stand now comes with a full protective plate on the bottom covering the PC board and the exposed fan blades, or at least mine did this month. Funny, because a buddy 3D printed a protective bottom cover for me from Thingiverse template, so I started looking into Thingiverse. I had never heard of that. So what I'll do here is switch over to that website. So here we are at thingiverse.com. And what this is a website. It's called MakerBot Thingiverse. But what is on here, people have designed 3D objects that you can download the programming for these, and if you have a 3D printer that plays the type of file that these are, it seemed like it was there were several different possible formats. One of the most common one I think was maybe SPL. I may have that wrong, but anyway, I did a search for Xiegu G90 H1, and I think it was maybe on the 5th page I found this here. As you can see, this plastic covering right here covers the fan, and you'll notice it looks just like the steel fan grill that I showed you earlier, but this is plastic, of course. And there's a couple variations of this. There's one, and this one may have, it looks like there might be a hole right there where you can mount a toggle switch to turn the cooling fan on and off if you don't have it on, you don't want it on. So this is pretty cool. If you've got a 3D printer or a friend who has one, maybe he could make this for you. And I would encourage somebody to make these and market them. So pretty cool. Of course, you can make this any color you want. As a matter of fact, I remember when I looked through there was like a desert tan one. You could get it black, whatever color, the material you're using on your 3D printer, you can make this. And whether it's worth going out and buying your own 3D printer, just to make this, probably not. And I don't know enough about them to know how big a 3D printer you'd have to have in order to make something this size, because if you look into it, there's lots of different size machines. So I need to learn more about it before I jump into it, but something that I'm considering. But I thought you would be interested to see that there actually is something available out there that will do a great job with the H1 fan holder. So again, thanks to Truck57US who pointed that out to me, and I thought I would share it with you. That's how we learn things, right? So thanks for viewing episode 51 of AirWaves. I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to share the video with friends and give it a thumbs up. And again, people are saying that they're not getting the notifications when a new video comes out. Go to my homepage, make sure the bell icon in the upper right corner, you click on that, make sure it says that you want to be notified when new videos come out. That seems to be some kind of issue with YouTube. I've noticed other people saying it from time to time for some reason. It gets unchecked or whatever. But double check that if you want to continue to be alerted when new videos pop up on AirWaves. This is Buzz. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you down the dial.